All right, folks, the news. What we have first up is a ball of lightning wreaking havoc throughout the country. Nobody will stop him. It's happening so fast. Randy Pitchford is
Vinny,
on the internet. Yeah.
Why would you fuck him over like this?
Yeah, it's beyond us.
Sorry, Sonic. Sonic gets caught and says to Dr. Eggman, "I can't believe you fuck me."
Okay, we can't bleed these stories together. Let's start with one and then move to the other.
So,
Randy Pitchford.
Dan, your alma mater, your Game Informer, past employer.
Is that what you call a former employer? Is that that's a school
close
thing?
enough.
Yeah. Previous
The
employer.
magazine from which you were birthed.
Yes,
GI
came from the pages of Game Informer.
Game Informer had a story. Well, I guess I should be. Before that, there was Randy Pitchford got on stage to talk about Borderlands 3.
They did demo yesterday. They showed off some gameplay, and I think they had streamers playing it as well.
Talking about the game and kind of what's going to happen, what's not going to be in it, what is going to be in it, what will not be in it. Game Informer wrote a story that said, "Hey, after saying, despite wrote a story about the microtransactions in it, and then put a tweet up saying, despite Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford's comment about quote no microtransactions end quote in Borderlands 3 during today's live stream, we've been told cosmetic items are still purchasable." So I guess that was also from an interview they had done with Randy Pitchford.
A fully accurate tweet.
It is. I watched the clip.
So. Oh, boy.
Which one do you want to start with?
So then Randy replies, Randy Pitchford, who is the CEO, president, the big
figurehead
of Gearbox, who's making Borderlands 3.
Yeah, I almost need to hear like this. I don't know what's
okay, so Randy replies directly to this tweet saying, there's no Randy Pitchford impression here. So
wait, I wish I could do one.
I don't know.
Okay, anyway.
It says, "Come on, guys, shitty clickbait headline. Literally seconds before I said that, I made it very clear we're going to do more cosmetic stuff like we did in Borderlands 2. You know I was talking about premium currency and loot boxes, kind of stuff not being in our game." And then immediately after that writes, "Why you guys would fuck me on this is beyond me. Thanks a lot."
And let's just, without diving into every single tweet in the storm, this went on for a while and involved him directly adding Andy McNamara.
I think it's still going on?
It is still. He is still
as of 4 this morning, and Andy even said, "Yes, it's 4 o'clock in the morning."
As of 15 minutes ago, when we took a break while you guys were in the bathroom, he may not be yelling at Game Informer right now, but he is definitely personally responding to lots of people who are commenting on this.
So from what I could gather from some of this, well, my impressions first.
Yeah.
My sideline, what do you call it? Armchair quarterback.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would be Randy.
Stop
Randy.
tweeting.
Stop
tweeting. Stop tweeting.
I think you think you're doing good and trying to defend your game and your team, but I think you should get the person next in line and have them take over the megaphone and the Borderlands 3 megaphone to promote this.
Bless you and your gentle demeanor, because that is probably not the approach I would take if I was a PR person working on that game.
And so the other thing I'm trying to see here, what I think Randy Pitchford is trying to say is that when I said microtransactions, I meant stuff that is pay to win, stuff that is game affecting, not cosmetic stuff. And then getting into an odd semantic argument about what's a microtransaction.
It's some real it depends on what you mean the definition of is. Like, it's that kind of shit.
Yeah. And like Andy McNamara, editor-in-chief over at Game Informer, basically saying, no, microtransactions are when you pay for something and you get something in a game.
By definition.
If you pay for a cosmetic item, that is a microtransaction.
Yes.
And Randy being kind of like, no, when I say microtransaction. And so that going back and forth.
This was one of the most transparent preview events I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In grand fucking, what are you even talking about fashion?
Well, it's weird where Randy is responding to a lot of individual people being like, I've talked to Game Informer and they're going to revise their reporting and they're going to clarify. Publicly. And then like Andy is coming out being like, hey, Randy, I don't know, like what part of this is inaccurate? Like we don't really feel the need. Like Andy's being real calm and cool about this, being like, hey, happy to talk about this, but I stand by everything we said in the article.
Here's what it boils down to. In the end, I understand why Randy thinks that this was being misinterpreted, because yes, in the clip, he does try to frame those things as slightly different situations, but he does use the term microtransactions, and words mean things, and in this case, microtransaction is a blanket term you use for in-game purchasables. It does not mean specifically pay-to-win stuff. You can say that, and if the issue is that you just did not phrase that in a specific way, there's a way you can go to them and say, hey, you know what? I understand that you were trying to clarify something that I said that was unclear. I would appreciate it if you would not frame this in a way that makes it look like I'm trying to willfully deceive people, because I'm not, but I understand where the issue is. But he did not do that. He immediately went to the "you are personally aggrieving me" stance.
On a public forum.
On a public forum.
It's not criticizing the practice. The article isn't saying, like, man, fuck him for putting purchasable cosmetics in. Like, no, tons of games do that, and whatever. As long as it's like cosmetic stuff, no one usually has that much of a big problem with it.
It's a slightly pointed clarification.
Yes.
The tweet is a bit of a gotcha tweet of like, hey, we're going to call out Randy on this thing he said. It turns out it's not this thing. And I think, like Alex said, I think there is a way for somebody who is in a calm headspace to go out there and say, oh, shit, or whatever, not swearing, but sorry if I wasn't clear. Sorry if I wasn't.
No, it's video games. Everyone cusses to be nice to each other.
Sorry if I wasn't clear on that. I didn't mean cosmetic stuff. I should have been more specific with the language. There will be, like Borderlands 2, there will be cosmetic stuff. There will be no free-to-play or pay-to-win stuff.
Which is maybe what he meant, but the fact of the matter, if he did say, quote, no microtransactions, and you can buy those things, then that's wrong. Like, he may have meant something different, or his idea of microtransactions could have been premium currency or loot boxes or whatever.
Or you just say, I misspoke.
Yeah.
You know, I said a word that was more blanket than what I actually meant.
Yes, but to instead of doing that, doing a, like, 400-tweet, crazy all-nighter tweet binge is not the best way to handle that.
Like, again, giving the most generous look at this is like Randy walking home from, like, this is his planes, trains, and automobiles, like from that press conference that he did with since the reveal of Borderlands 3. Actually, before that, he's been in the news quite a bit for some very, let's just call it, scandalous stuff.
Magical moments.
And whether or not you take that stuff seriously, like, that shit that is going to impact how you are able to represent your product, whether you like it or not.
Yes, so he's been in the news for a lot of things. You can go look it up. Had a kind of real tough launch announcement for Borderlands 3.
Yeah, it didn't go great.
So yes, in his, like, stumbling, can't catch a bus, the car rental place doesn't have the car, just he's packed in car, like. And then I could see the pressure getting to somebody to just explode of, like, just give me a break.
But the thing is, like, the things that have gone wrong, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but, like, the things that have gone wrong here would every single one, be relatively minor bumps in the road if the reactions following them had been more measured and a little bit more on, just kind of on an even keel.
Smooth, let's say, cool.
Yes. Like, okay, your trailer didn't run the first time. You know what? We hold for time. We do some other stuff. We talk to the audience, take some questions.
Do a magic trick.
Another magic
we
trick.
wait until we are absolutely sure this thing works, and then we run it again, or a third time, or a fourth time, whatever it is you're doing. You got a tweet, maybe slightly is clarifying something in a way that maybe doesn't make you look great. Look at it. Think realistically about what you said. Talk to the people involved. Approach this maybe not in public right out of the gate. You could probably get around this. Yeah. You might even get them to change the tweet with it, but none of these are the responses that are happening.
And it looks bad as it is, just in a vacuum, being around the Borderlands 3 problems that have come up with the announcement and everything. But what adds to a certain air of desperation is the fact that, like, this is their big thing. This is Borderlands 3, and they are coming off of a string of, like, high-profile failures between Battleborn and Duke and Colonial Marines. So it's like, this is kind of like, they need this.
Yeah, I've said before, like, the tone I get from Randy Pitchford is a man who was on his last big bet, and it just...
With his own company.
With his own company.
Yeah.
And I'm just...
And the employees.
But that's the thing, is that the thing I feel most right now is that if I'm a developer working on Borderlands 3 right now, and this is the thing that is getting all the attention, like, not the game, not any of the reveals, not any of the things streamers or press are saying, it's my CEO fucking just having, like kicking off Meltdown May in grand fucking fashion. Like that, I would be just crestfallen.
Yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into any big game like this, or any game in general,
we all agree, like, yeah, he's real bad at this.
Well, he's real bad at this, but
He's
also
real bad
he's showing
at this.
a distinct lack of learning from past experiences with this. Like him getting into these weird arguments with like random people on Twitter is a thing he's done many times before. I don't know if anyone remembers the great big dick daddy dom argument of a few years ago, where he got into a legitimate argument with a person with that username. Like that is a thing that has stuck with me for years.
Did you follow Big Dick Daddy Dom?
No, I just saw the conversation and it has stuck with me.
I'm sorry, Alex. Can you spell that for me?
Big Dick Daddy Dom. I don't think that user still has an account.
One word?
It was.
That's a good name, though. What did
Vinny
you
hit
find?
back real quick.
Where'd you expect?
Did you just type that in without putting Randy Pitchford in there also?
That would have been better.
Oh my god!
It might have actually got you to the conversation.
He got some search results.
Oh, there are a bunch of CBS cops pounding on my door.
Just turn Save Search on.
Look.
And search Big Dick Daddy Dom.
What were you expecting? I don't understand.
My point
I
is...
thought if I put it all together without
Did you think he was the only one?
I bet you Randy's not even in the top 100,000.
I've never seen
Let me try again.
I've never seen someone click out of a window as fast as you.
Let me type Randy next to that.
That was real fast.
Oh, no.
It was
Do you
bad.
guys want to know?
There were some letters
I
in there
know.
I didn't even fucking understand.
Yeah. Anyway.
Let me do an image search.
Well, I'm pretty sure that wasn't the one he was arguing with.
Okay, well, good.
But nonetheless, and also, just again, how is no one who cares about him taking his phone away? Please take Randy's phone away. Let him stop tweeting.
Let's talk. All right, let's talk about the other thing that's tearing up the internet.
Okay.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, that's not horny.
Blast processing. It's happening. There is a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. If you have.